Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, October 15th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with WWE Smackdown, which aired live last night on Fox from the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Bray Wyatt appeared in the closing segment of the show, his first SmackDown appearance since October 2020, delivering a heartfelt, out-of-character promo, thanking fans and discussing his time away from the ring.
I lost my career. I lost my self-confidence. I lost two people who were very, very close to me. And I lost my way. And I got to a point where I thought that everything that I'd ever done here, otherwise I thought it was all meaningless. Nothing I ever did has mattered to anyone. And I was wrong. I was wrong.
The promo was interrupted at the end by a very cryptic message on the Titantron from the masked figure that's been seen in several other of the Wyatt-related vignettes on WWE television recently. Just prior to Wyatt's segment, the final match of the night saw Rey Mysterio win a fatal four-way over Ricochet, Sheamus, and Solo Sikoa, pinning Ricochet to become the new number one contender to Gunther's Intercontinental title. The show opened with an angle in which Drew McIntyre appeared to have run into Karrion Kross's car with a pickup truck, with EMTs appearing to tend to Kross as McIntyre physically assaulted him.
As we come on the air tonight on Friday Night SmackDown, we have breaking news. This is outside the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. We've been told that moments ago there was a car accident involving Karrion Kross and Scarlett. As you can see, emergency personnel attending to Kross and Drew McIntyre. McIntyre assaulting Kross.
Kross in no state to fight right now. Can't even defend himself.
And irate McIntyre. And driving Kross into the side of a pickup truck, and officials trying to drag McIntyre away.
Please get some help out there.
This was Kross and McIntyre's first on-screen encounter since their strap match last weekend at Extreme Rules. Mansoor of Maximum Male Models was defeated by LA Knight, formerly the leader of Maximum Male Models faction, now wrestling under the name of the persona he'd previously used in NXT. In other results, Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai defeated Roxanne Perez, Shotzi, and Raquel Rodriguez when Bayley pinned Perez. Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro of Legado del Fantasma also defeated Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis of Hit Row when Wilde pinned Dollar. Later in the evening, TNT aired a taped episode of AEW Rampage recorded Thursday night at the Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, site of Wednesday's Dynamite. The opening match saw AEW World Champion Jon Moxley and his Blackpool Combat Club partner Claudio Castagnoli defeat the Butcher and the Blade. Also, former Ring of Honor World Champion Dalton Castle made a surprise appearance, interrupting a promo segment involving current ROH World Champion Chris Jericho.
Christopher, this I used to be Ring of Honor World Champion, Chris. And to see that championship around your waist, a stupid, naive, silly little goose, it makes me sick.
We got a goose chant.
I broke my back for that championship, and I'm willing to break yours to give that title and all these viewers what they deserve. And that is a champion they can be proud of.
Jericho and Castle will meet in the ring for the title on next week's Tuesday night edition of Dynamite. Stu Grayson returned to AEW in a backstage segment on the show, marking his first appearance back with the company since his previous contract expired last May. In other results, FTR and Shawn Spears defeated Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony in a six-man tag team match. Nyla Rose beat Anna Jazz, and Ethan Page defeated Isaiah Cassidy. In more WWE news, Cameron Grimes will be the latest NXT wrestler to be called up to Monday Night Raw tapings in the past 2 weeks, according to a report from PW Insider. Grimes, who has been part of NXT since 2019, is scheduled to be at Raw Monday night from the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City and is expected to take part in the tapings for WWE Main Event, which will take place as part of the evening's event. Grimes joins Carmelo Hayes and Von Wagner, who had matches on Main Event earlier this week at the Raw tapings from the Barclays Center, and Fallon Henley, Josh Briggs, and Brooks Jensen, who wrestled at the tapings last week in St. Paul, Minnesota. Grimes' last match took place a month ago at the September 14th NXT taping, which aired on September 27th, where he lost to Joe Gacy. In news from outside the ring, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Kofi Kingston announced on Instagram yesterday that he is launching a project to help underprivileged students in his native country of Ghana. Called the Click for Quality Education Foundation and co-founded by Kingston and his mother, librarian Dr. Elizabeth Sarkady Mensah. The program will help build library media centers and computer labs for junior high school students in need, as well as provide training in computer and media literacy, critical thinking, and creative problem-solving. The first Click Center is currently being built at Atwima Takiman Presbyterian Junior High School in the Kwadaso municipality in the Ashanti region of Ghana, according to the announcement. CLICK is an acronym for Computer Lab and Integrated Center of Knowledge. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And finally, we close with some sad news to report. 1970s and 80s Puerto Rican wrestling legend Jose Rivera has passed away, according to a Facebook announcement yesterday morning from his son Jose Rivera Jr. Known as El Gigante de San Lorenzo, Rivera is best remembered for his 1976 to 1981 run in Puerto Rico's World Wrestling Council, during which he was among the inner circle of WWC owner and promoter Carlos Colon and formed a successful tag team with him known as Los Dinamicos. Rivera held nearly all of the titles available in WWC, including the Puerto Rican Championship, which he won from Tor Kamada, the tag team title, which he held on 4 occasions with Carlos Colon and Invader 1, and the Caribbean Championship, which he held 3 times. Like his associate and tag team partner Colon, Rivera got his start as an enhancement talent in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation in the early 1970s. He and Colon reunited for Rivera's final match in 2008, defeating the team of Barabbas and Victor Jovica. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.